All right, let's talk boxing with former WBC cruiserweight champion Tony Bellew. Loads to get our teeth into. I want to start with the heavyweight division. Obviously, we heard the announcement, and there was a press conference last week for Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin. Some people have critiqued it a little bit, saying, what's AJ doing fighting Jermaine Franklin, who's coming off a loss? Some people have said, and this is my take on it, well, AJ's coming off 2 losses. He's lost 3 of his last 5. What do you make of the fight?
I think it's a good fight. I think it lets us know where Anthony's at. Not so much mentally, because he's going to be the same person. He's a fighter through and through. It lets us know where he's at physically. I want to see if the fire still burns. I want to see, because if the fire still burns, he gets rid of Franklin in about 6 to 8 rounds. And it'll be pretty brutal when he starts letting his hands go. But if he's not feeling as confident as he would usually do, then he might eke out a 12-round points win, which I don't think is a good thing at this stage of his career. I want to see him just let his hands go, not care about, I've got to go in there and think about tactics, I've got to go in there and think about gassing, or I'm going to attack. Just go in there, mate, and do what you do. And you know what you do well? You knock people out.
Yeah, that's exactly what he does. We haven't seen that for a while, but that's what he was, at least earlier in his career, known for. A couple of changes for AJ, most noticeably in the training camp. It is Derek James that he's with now. He will go to America and train with Derek James as opposed to Derek coming here. What do you make of that link-up?
I think it can only be good for him. Listen, Josh knows how I feel about him. I think Robert McCracken is one of the best trainers in the world. But I also get and understand that sometimes fighters need a change and a break, because, repetition can get boring at times, and you've done it for so long a certain way, a certain set of method, tactics. But whatever benefits him the most, Ade, that's all that matters. I think going away from England will be massive for him. Being around the likes of your Charlos and your Spencers, that's going to be a really good experience for him. I think just seeing how different people prepare. I speak to him on a regular basis, and he's such an eager student with the game. He is a man who has achieved so much so quickly that he is still learning on the job. Even when it comes to preparation, even when it comes to getting to know his body, navigating his way through 12-round fight, he's still learning on the job. He didn't have an extensive amateur career. He achieved so much so quickly. I mean, he was world champion in his 16th fight. He was unified champion in under 20 fights. So, where is the growth, or where does that period come where he's going to learn he's had to learn by beating fellow world champions. He goes in against Joseph Parker in a unification fight, and he's fighting another world champion. There is no time to learn. You have literally just got to perform. So when the defeats come against Usyk, it's kind of, okay, it's a setback, but he's still learning, and he is actually still improving. I mean, Usyk is the finished article. You don't get better than what he is. He's a gift. He's unbelievably gifted. Tyson Fury is a man who since the switch up to Sugar Hill and the Kronk, has become a completely different fighter. He is now an aggressive counter puncher with heavy hands, by the way. So Anthony Joshua may be able to now have a different style from him coming out going forward. So you just don't know how he's going to respond to it, how he's going to react to it. But ultimately, I'm just so happy to see him back in the ring.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, isn't it? Like we don't see AJ fight enough, right? The last couple of years have been 1 fight a year. We've been promised 3 fights this year. On the trainer thing, Tony, I tweeted this the other day. We're seeing a lot of our top UK fighters go with American trainers now. Loads of them, right? You think of Joshua Boatsi, Tyson Fury, Dillian White, Callum Smith, AJ. The list goes on and on and on. What is that about? There are good trainers here, right? Very good trainers. Why are they having to go to America to find some of the best coaching?
They don't have to, Ade, because we've got there's just as good a coaches right here. Joe McAnally is a fantastic trainer. Shane McGuigan is a fantastic trainer. Shane McGuigan is a really good coach. I think his managerial skills are absolutely diabolical, but I think his actual training techniques are very good. He will improve fighters. As for there's a number. I think Jamie Moore's a fantastic coach. There's many of them in this. I just think with a lot of fighters, once they get to a certain level, first and foremost, they want to get away from England. They want to get away from the media. They want to get away from the prying eyes, if I say so. And then the next step is, oh well, an American brings something different. Well, they don't. I've been to America. I've done camps in the USA. I've lived for weeks and months at a time in New York, going around all the gyms and working with different trainers and seeing how they use things. They don't know any more than us. And if anything, they blow a whole lot more of smoke than us. That's all they do. They just blow smoke up people's backsides. And they just tell you they're great. I mean, go into an American gym, and believe you me, I've been in there, and I'm speaking from lived experience. You go in the gym and you would think you are talking to about 15 world champions. And you soon realise and understand that once you get in the ring, ain't not one of them a world champion, but they all talk, and they all walk, and they all carry themselves like world champions. It's only until the punches start getting thrown and the leather gets exchanged that you soon find out, you know what, these aren't that good at all. These just talk the best game ever. We are aligned a little bit differently over here, unless you're Chris Eubank Jr, but that's another story. We're just aligned differently over here. We let our actions speak louder than words. I mean, that's how I've always looked at it. The difference between us, between the English and American fighters, as I say, stylistically, a little bit of a difference. I mean, but they're so few and far between now. Boxing isn't running American anymore, Ade. The best fighters aren't from America anymore. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, let's just go back to the pound for pound. I mean, you'll say Terence Crawford on there, but the likes of Canelo Alvarez and stuff, it's still a stylistic thing that you want to see. I mean, the greatest fighter of our era is obviously Floyd Mayweather Jr, but there is no one else like him. He's a one-off. So don't think, we go to America, we start boxing like Floyd Mayweather. I'm sorry, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to have the skill set within yourself to start with. On that pound for pound, as I say a few fights back, Alexander Usyk is up there. There's a lot of Eastern Europeans now that are knocking about, and dangerous fighters in all kinds of weight categories. You know, Ade Oladipo, another monster. Dimitri Bivol. You know, these guys aren't, consistently in America. Well, I know Bivol's in Canada, if I'm right, not Bivol. Oladipo is in Canada. I'm not sure where Bivol is based these days, but the fighters are from all over the place. America is no longer the hotbed of boxing, and it hasn't been for a while. There's a reason why the American fighters want to come over here and fight, because they love our fan base. They love the way the fans are towards the sport. So I don't get it. I don't get the big clamour to America and the coaches. I'm not saying they're not good coaches, because they've got some brilliant, fantastic coaches, but no better than what's on here. As I said, the young boys I've just mentioned, they're coming up, the likes of Jamie Moore, Joseph McAnally, Shane McGuigan. They're really good coaches. And they should be given an opportunity and chances over here. You know, you've got other people, and from the older generation of the amazing Robert McCracken, Adam Bood has trained some quality fighters. Mark Tibbs has done fantastic jobs with a few, and you look at the job he's doing now, growing Johnny Fisher. It's showing. Ebony Bridges has become a world champion on his watch. So they're all making claims, and you look at the pedigree these people have come from as well, Ade. That's a big thing. Mark Tibbs has learned from his father in Jimmy Tibbs. Rob McCracken was a world-class middleweight, fighting for world titles, and as I say, Jamie Moore, in my opinion, the most deserving fighter of a world championship outside, who didn't become a world champion. These are all knowledgeable guys who've spent many nights in the ring, spent many years within the boxing trade, amateur and pro. And I say it's just an unfair dismissal to say that the American trainers are better, because they're not.
Final one, and a fantastic point about the trainers as well. I really did. Inoue, we forgot about Inoue in the pound for pound list as well, in terms of non-Americans on that list. Final one, Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, the fight everyone wants to see, undisputed heavyweight title, the glamour division. Stalling. We don't know what's going on. It looked like it was going to go to Saudi. Now we're here in Wembley. There could be a money problem as well. What do you make of all this?
He doesn't fight for money, does he, Ade? He says he'll fight for free, so I don't know what the stall is. All jokes aside, I mean, no one fights for free. No one should ever fight for free. Listen, boxing is a prize fighting sport. We fight for money. Simple as that. Top and bottom of it. When the belts are all gone, it's the money that lasts, nothing else. So I don't know what's going on with them. Frustrating, to be honest. I think it's I mean, you start to realise and understand how easy negotiations can be when Matchroom are involved, when Eddie Hearn's involved, because things just get done. AJ fought Usyk twice. There wasn't a single problem about, not one. They just happen. So I don't know what the hold up would be. One thing I do know is Usyk's team are the easiest to deal with. I know I've paid them, so I know exactly how he's. Once they have a certain set of terms, which is pretty basic when you ask, in the grand scheme of things, and they just agree to the fight, and that's it. They aren't bothered about ring walks, music. Nothing bothers them much. Like, they will give away all of the A side over to them. They will just want their fee, and they will want the money, and that's it. And they are more than entitled to that. Alexander Usyk is is a gift that very few people can appreciate. I understand exactly how good he is. Unfortunately for me, he's the one who smacked my ass well and truly. But he's absolutely amazing. He really is a brilliant fighter who deserves everything that's coming to him. I've always thought Fury would be too big. I'm not so sure now. I mean, don't get me wrong, his stylistic change and turnaround that he's had since taking on Sugar Hill has been monumental. I will say that. His style has completely changed. He is not feather-fisted, he is strong, he is heavy. He presses with authority. And one thing I will say, he's a bit easier to hit. But ultimately, he's a far better fighter, more equipped fighter right now than he's ever been in his life. I just think the Sugar Hill connection and link-up, he looks dangerous, mate. He really, really does. But then, as I say, there has been little drawbacks. He is easier to hit. He's easier to work out also. You know what's coming when he's in the ring with you. The only thing I will say is, if he thinks Alexander Usyk is going to be there to be hit, he has got another thing coming. Believe you me, that boy's judgment of distance is the best I've ever seen. Ever in my whole entire life. I have never seen anything like that. I mean, the boy is one chromosome short of the Matrix. I have no idea how he does what he's doing. Like, he's missing, like he was making me miss by less than inches, and like he was having a good time while he was doing it. As I told you before, and I'll say it again, one chromosome short of the Matrix. That's what that boy is. But he's a freaky individual and an amazing and truly amazing fighter who, regardless of what happens against Fury, will go down as probably the greatest cruiserweight ever. The only one to unify all 4 belts, hold the Ring Magazine belt at the same time as well, and go up to challenge the big boys. I mean, could you imagine if he does beat Fury? Because believe you me, it's not a given. I think he's got a chance, and I think if anything, I think he's got more than a chance now. The longer this goes on, the more it benefits Alexander Usyk, because Fury isn't the perfect athlete. Fury is someone who actually needs to be busy. And the last fight, the shutout against Derek Chisora, won't have done him any good. Won't have done it. That's not going to benefit him going into a fight with Alexander Usyk whatsoever. If anything, I've seen more flaws from the Derek Chisora fight than I've seen pluses. That might be because he's gone in there knowing that what he can do to this man. I mean, against Deontay Wilder last time, I thought he was phenomenal. I thought he really, really was. Looked powerful, looked strong. But against Derek Chisora, I just didn't see the same fighter. And if anything, I think he may be the one now on the slide.